Come on, Stephen A., bro. Dogging the black women.
And I hope Jasmine Crockett is listening to this. Is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And you being all disrespectful.
You get loud and all in your feelings about Bron.
That man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him.
When you talking to a white billionaire, you humble. And you come back on your show talking real respectful, mild manner.
Well, you know what? Listen, I did it. People, headlines are headlines. I certainly meant no disrespect towards him at all.
Stephen A. Smith is facing a lot of backlash for using his platform to criticize black women, especially as he started to pivot into politics while using conservative talking points. Now, Stephen A. built his entire career off being critical of black athletes, and that was easy for him to do because professional sports, especially the sports that he covered, are full of black athletes. And a lot of fans would agree with him tearing down another player as long as it wasn't their favorite. But now Stephen A. is making a very deliberate shift into political commentary.
Our debt is $37.8 trillion. Somehow, some way, the taxpayers been paying this, been throwing money, because we all look at our check, and it's been going to the government. And somehow, some way, you're supposed to be doing something constructive and productive enough to make sure that we don't have that kind of deficit. It isn't happening. A government shutdown is going on right now.
Where bias becomes more difficult to hide and the weight of your words hit much harder, especially in today's climate, where MAGA is on a non-stop offensive against minorities and liberals.
Fight back! White man, fight back! White man, fight back! White man, fight back! White man, fight back!
And just like all these other black conservatives, Stephen A. will never criticize Republicans. He has nothing to say about the right, their policies, or behavior. And that really became clear during this shift of his, where he basically told everyone to get over the Epstein list.
You're in an uproar off the Epstein list? That's all you've got? It's really, really surprising that this matters. Of course, I think there's a list, but I don't know. I suspect, but I have no knowledge, nor do I care. It's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out and enjoy myself. I'm getting ready to have a nice weekend. I could give a damn about the Epstein client list. It has no effect on me whatsoever. I have a life. I don't understand for the life of me why this matters so much to these. I'm talking about people losing it. They're crying on camera. They're talking about resignations. They're pissed off about everything. I'm like, really? With all the stuff going on in this country, with all the power that you possess because of the cachet and the influence you have because of your connection to this administration, that's why you upset at Trump. I didn't blame Trump one bit for looking at them and saying, really? That really matters to you?
And after Jimmy Kimmel was shut down, the entire internet was up in arms, defending our rights of free speech. But Stephen A. did the opposite. He knew free speech was being threatened, but refused to stand up for free speech by telling people not to challenge Trump and to stay out of his way.
With Jimmy Kimmel and this whole brouhaha he finds himself inflamed with, it's not that, oh my God, you can't say a joke. I am incredibly alarmed by what appears to be our First Amendment rights being attacked. This is what I do for a living. I don't like that. But you know he's coming. And you know part of the reason why is to get back at everybody who tried to take him down. They didn't try to keep him out of the White House and that was it. They tried to throw him in prison. The man is coming. And you have to adjust accordingly.
He has no smoke for MAGA and refuses to criticize conservatives at all. But when it comes to black women just doing their jobs, suddenly he has the time and all the smoke in the world.
How many of you are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill and that's gonna work for you?
It's ugly and cowardice, especially given the size of his platform, because now his words just aren't entertainment anymore. The MAGA crowd eats it up and it gives them more ammunition to use against people like Jasmine Crockett. These are the same people that have been exposed over and over and over for racism and for pushing far-right policies that they know will hurt minorities and really Americans in general at this point.
This time last year, the rice price was about 40% higher than it is now. The inputs costs have gone up. So after a horrible year last year where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
So when Stephen A. implies that Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, a lawyer and elected official, is being too street, we all know that's coded language to be able to call her ghetto. For the simple fact that she's unapologetically black and using her voice and platform to speak out against what she thinks is wrong.
Okay, so again, another low IQ implementation. I just want to be clear that the American people should know that these are all Trump 2.0 policies.
And whether Stephen A. knows this or not, he is feeding directly into conservative narratives chosen talking point. But when he finally catches heat and gets called out, suddenly his tone changes.
Listen, I did it. People, headlines are headlines. We can get into that another time, but I was hoping you were going to be here. I am not qualified.
He becomes humble and apologetic, especially after being checked by a white man on live TV. But I'm Jew. Welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
This educated, brilliant black woman representing over 750,000 people is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And that's fun when you're in the streets. How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you at the negotiating table trying to get a deal done? How many of you are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill and that's going to work for you? You literally have senators and congressional figures on Capitol Hill on the side of the Republicans telling the networks, whether it's Fox News, News Nation, or anybody else, please, please, please put her front and center on camera. Why would they do that? Because they know it wins for them.
If you read between the lines, Stephen A. is saying he doesn't like how Jasmine Crockett speaks and presents herself, and that she should code switch or dumb down her personality in order to be accepted by conservatives, as if her changing her way of speaking will make them like black women all of a sudden. He's sitting there chastising a black woman doing her job and representing her district.
We've got a lot of ground to cover in about 5 minutes, so let's go. I've got 3 statements that I want to know if you agree or disagree with, and I want to just go down the row. Yes or no? Does cutting pay typically assist in recruiting a workforce? Yes or no?
No.
Generally, no.
Thank you. It sounds like a low IQ implementation to me. So let's go to the next one. Does poor working conditions assist with recruitment? Yes or no?
No.
Sounds like another low IQ implementation to me. And finally, I'm going to start with Mr. Potter because I don't know how this is going to go. Does union busting help with recruitment?
I know nothing about unions whatsoever. I'm sorry.
I don't know anything about unions either.
Okay, so again, another low IQ implementation. I just want to be clear that the American people should know that these are all Trump 2.0 policies. So when we say that he's failed, let me tell you, we got receipts, and those are some of the receipts.
And she's been one of the few politicians, just like Gavin Newsom, that hasn't been afraid to use her platform and speak out against this administration or the president.
And so we took all these incidents, and my staffer, I'm like, dude, this letter is getting way too long. I mean, it was like he's falling asleep. He forgets that he appointed Jerome Powell. We would have added January 6th if we had dropped, he forgot he was president on January 6th. The rest of the world did not. So there is something happening, and this is based on what actual medical professionals have told me, mentally as well as physically. And then after they put out their report of his most recent physical, it has only led those on the medicinal side to think for sure that he had a stroke.
Very well spoken if you ask me, but because of her stances and her fearlessness in speaking out, she's been attacked by MAGA, conservatives, and even the president.
Jasmine Crockett, remember when I said, is she a relation to the late, great David Crockett? I don't think so. Jasmine Crockett, let me tell you, before you even ask, she's a very low IQ person. I mean, if we ever had to pass an aptitude test, that's the one should take one because she shouldn't even be in the crowd. So I have no idea what you're going to, but I don't think we should waste our time. This is a low IQ person who I can't even believe is a congressperson. Between her and Ilhan Omar and the group. I met the head of Somalia. Did you know that? And I suggested that maybe he'd like to take her back, and he said, I don't want her.
Just like Stephen A. using words like street, we all know when these conservatives say somebody of color is low IQ, exactly what they mean. And of course, Stephen A. caught a lot of backlash for being so critical on Jasmine Crockett, not only for not coming to Jasmine Crockett's defense as she's being called low IQ and attacked on the right, but then to further criticize her for just being herself and doing her job to the best of her ability.
When I point to a Jasmine Crockett, is because here's what I know. All I ever hear her doing is going off about Trump.
And of course, like all of these guys, he's never in the wrong and just continues to double down.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I tell you what my belief is? I have no desire to be a politician. Let me reiterate that. And I appreciate House Leader, Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries speaking to me in the way that he did by saying that I speak with the frustration of the American people because you damn right I do. Let me tell you what gets me annoyed.
And I hope Jasmine Crockett is listening to this. And by the way, she's welcome on the show. When you go on national television and you calling the president of the United States out of it, and you're being all disrespectful, as a representative in this country, do you believe the citizens of Texas sent you there to do that? They don't like him either. I'm talking about those who voted for her in all likelihood. But because he is who he is and he is in that position, they expect you to go to Capitol Hill and figure out a way to maneuver yourself through that terrain to work in a fashion that's going to facilitate getting things done on behalf of your constituents. That's your job.
What he's saying is dumb out the gate because keep in mind, we're in a full government shutdown right now where Republicans refuse to negotiate or even communicate with Democrats. It was their way or the highway, and because of that, hundreds of thousands of federal employees and their families are suffering. Some of them unable to pay bills like mortgage or rent or buy groceries for their family. So her being critical of the administration or Trump doesn't mean she's not doing her job.
Excuse my language on Sirius XM, but it ain't your job to say he ain't shit. He ain't worth a damn. That's not your job. Anybody can do that. He's a deal maker. And if you figure out a way to make him look good in any way, quid pro quo is something he lives by. He'll reciprocate. If you know that, why you can't figure it out?
Stephen A. always just comes across like a weasel with no backbone, where he's willing to kiss whatever ass he needs to for money or exposure, but not willing to stand on business for anything. Meanwhile, this is the woman under constant attack still doing her job. She's also not afraid to point out and speak the truth. Permanent tax breaks for billionaires and excuses about healthcare tax subsidies. $20 billion for Argentina, but American soybean farmers catch a double dose of hard times. Young Republicans share racist and rapist messages, so we can now agree that the red hats are the new white hoods. I think a lot of people agree with her, especially after those young Republican text messages were leaked, where they were caught in text messages sharing their love for Hitler, Nazis, the Holocaust, and being overall racist, which we already knew. But now that it's come to light, it makes any person of color still supporting these conservatives a super sellout. And that's not the only black woman Stephen A. had a lot to say about. He also criticized Serena Williams after the Super Bowl.
The Serena moment for me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Let's just give her.
Well, you can say give her a props, but but Shannon brought it up, so I'm going there. I'm going to be like, if I'm your husband, I'm like, why are you up there dancing or something?
I wanted my lips
trolling your ex.
Also missing those. She's from Compton.
No, we know.
Like
we know that.
Even
If I'm married and my wife is going to join trolling her ex, go back to his ass. Because clearly you don't belong with me. What you worried about him for and you with me?
I gotta get that lick back.
Go ahead,
Stop it.
What?
Stop it, Stephen A.
This is true.
But the energy changed a lot when Serena's husband joined his show First Take to confront Stephen A. live about his comments.
Well, also, too, Stephen A. Smith, I think you had some marriage advice for me. Is that right? Or
Well, you know what? Listen, I did it. People, headlines are headlines. We can get into that another time, but I was hoping
you were going to be here.
I am not qualified. Married?
Right.
Oh no, not me.
Well,
I ain't qualified, my brother. I'm not qualified.
A whole lot of stuttering and stammering for somebody that was just talking tough a minute ago. All of these black conservatives are the same. They talk big stuff online about anybody black, but they are terrified to say anything to white people.
I was going to ask, because you hadn't been married before, right?
I am married.
No, Stephen. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I give advice to plenty of founders who want to build billion-dollar companies. And the reason I do that is because I build billion-dollar companies.
Yeah.
So I generally try to stay in my lane as advice
Then
department.
we'll talk marriage advice later. I'm 13 years strong. We got
Deal.
That man just got told to stay in his own lane and had nothing to say about it. And when he did respond on his own show, he was so humble and gentle in his response.
Glad like that he is her husband. I have no issue wanting to address this because that's her husband. I certainly meant no disrespect towards him at all. Knowing us as men, if we're married, then our wife is just showing energy towards anybody else, even in a negative way. We're asking ourselves, if you're happy, why show that energy? That's it. But that's all it was. But I wasn't going to get into it on national television. I'm a professional.
But peep how different the energy is when he's discussing his confrontation with LeBron.
That man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him. Immediately.
And of course, a lot of people saw the energy switch up and was calling out Stephen A. for it.
Come on, Stephen A., bro. You get loud and all in your feelings about Braun. When Braun, he talking to a black billionaire, but when you talking to a white billionaire, you humble. And you come back on your show talking real respectful, mild-mannered, man. Hey, bro, listen, bro. And you dogging the black women. Let's stay out of politics and stick to talking about sports you never played. All right? Just stick to doing that, bro. We not gonna vote for you if you talk. I heard you talking about running. You don't do that, bro. We not gonna vote for you. No, we're not.
Street saying Serena's husband had you backpedaling like Atlanta Falcons Deion Sanders. I think this is an interesting one and goes to the point that I was making. Stephen A. Smith never had smoke for Trump, MAGA, January 6th insurrectionists, white Christian nationalists, rogue white police officers, racist judges, teachers, politicians. But black women? Exactly. And with Stephen A. facing so much backlash and being called out internet-wide, not only is he trying to downplay the situation, his bias and being called out for it, now he's trying to distract people. Have you noticed Stephen A. brings his daughter or nephew out when he's in hot water? And that's definitely true. I like his daughter. She's really funny, has a good personality, especially on air. But we see it's clear as day, he's just trying to hide behind his black daughter's face.
Ultimately, my dad's money is mine. And I think that that's the difference between Josh and I that a lot of people get mixed up. We're just on two completely different levels because I'm entitled to everything he has. Josh is stealing from me, but I'm just like inheriting what's right.
It's 100% a distraction, but people aren't going for it. You don't have to bring your daughter out when you mess up. Yes, everybody loves your daughter, so I get it. But all you got to do is say, I'm sorry. I was wrong for what I said about Jasmine Crockett. I respect her and I respect black women. That's all. And I think he hit the nail on the head with that. Instead of doubling down, just acknowledge what you said and how it could have affected black women in the black community as a whole. Apologize for it and do better. But they don't do that. They just double down and double down and double down and talk tough to black people, but act super respectful and humble to other people. The same old scripted Family Man play. Every time you get exposed for doing some sucker shit, the jig is hovering. At the end of the day, these black conservatives, or Stevie would say, coon, bootlicker, coconut, Uncle Tom, are not on our side, but they do use their skin color as a shield to attack the black community without being called racist. And they get a bunch of support from the right, from conservatives who agree with everything they say. It's a dangerous game, but people are calling it out now because we know all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And Stephen A. is a great example of that. But thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the next video and don't forget to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.